It's Powerback time on the Gutsy Podcast, your 20-minute boost to reclaim and refocus your energy. Get ready to have bursts of clarity, a boost of confidence, and the practical steps you need to make gutsy moves forward. You've got big things to do, so let's get your power back. There's definitely no shortage of tools to use to run your business and your financing and your organization and how you communicate with clients. Finding the tools is not really the problem. Deciding which one to use, which one can you trust, which one actually really works, and which ones are affordable. Researching all those details and clicking through all the trials to see which one, that could take months. Today, I hope to make that a little bit easier for you. I'm sharing the 5 tools that make running my business substantially easier. Some of these tools I've used for the better part of a decade. A few of them that I've used in the old business and brought them over to the new because they work so well. From contracts and payments to social media management, project organization, and how to communicate with clients, I'm sharing you the tools that I use on a daily, how much I pay for them, and why I keep them around. If you're craving some organization or you just want to put a little bit more structure to your workflow, this episode is going to do all the hard work so that you don't have to. To make your life a little extra easier, I'm going to link in the show notes all of the different systems that I use. Some of them are affiliate links, some of them are just straight links to the websites. Some of them save you some money, some of them give you free trials. But the point is, I want it to be easy for you. I want you to be able to find these different tools and start to implement them as soon as possible. Because when I tell you that these things make my life so much better, so much easier, I'm a systems girl, okay? I used to fight systems and processes because I'm very creative. And I saw systems and processes as this very limiting thing that wanted to try and stifle my creativity. And what I learned the very hard way is that not having a system, not having tools in place is actually a creativity killer because you're trying to remember all the details. You're repeating things that don't need to be repeated. You are reinventing the wheel every single time you go to do something because it's different and it's not in the same place and things are disorganized. And okay, listen, I can be creative, and turns out I can be even more creative when I have systems and tools in place that allows me to just focus on the things that I need to focus on. It's a lot easier to onboard a new client when I'm not having to go and rewrite or find a new contract every single time that I want to bring someone on, or figure out where I put that one document in that one folder on my desktop. Or when I'm working with my clients and who am I talking to on which platform? Is it Instagram Messenger? Is it Facebook Messenger? Are we sending emails back and forth and they're all different? Nope, we have simplified all of this. The things that I'm sharing with you today allow me to do the work that I love the most more efficiently. It lowers my stress because I'm not reinventing the wheel every single time. And it's just a better experience all around, not just for me, but for my clients and for anybody that works with me on my team. I also want you to know that I'm a micro business, okay? I don't have a huge team behind me. There's myself. There's my husband who edits the Gutsy Podcast. Shout out to AJ for editing these episodes so that you can listen to them so nicely and so cleanly. I just brought on a podcast manager, so huge shout out to Adrian, who's now doing all the back end, the show notes and the graphics and all the stuff. It takes so much time and I don't like doing it, and she happens to love it. So it's a great setup. And fun fact, this is her very first Powerback episode with us. So give Adrian a warm welcome here too. And then for bigger projects or bigger systems, I bring on my online business manager, Jonette, who is just stellar at setting up systems and processes. Otherwise, that's it. So you don't need to have a huge team in order to have some of these tools in place. In fact, I highly recommend getting this stuff in place before you start adding people onto your team, before you start really expanding, because think about it, if it's smaller and it's a problem, when it gets bigger, that problem expands if it's not solved. So even if you're like, it's only me, Laura, okay, cool. Guess what? You work with you a lot. And I'm going to guess that you're listening to this episode because there's some part of your business right now that's feeling a little bit disorganized, a little bit sticky, or you're just like, I know that this could be done better. I just don't have the bandwidth to figure out what the right tools to use are. And I say the right tools loosely because to each their own, right? I'm sharing with you the ones that I have found tried and true. They're old, reliable, they work well, they expand well, they're affordable. Like I've used these tools, like I said, I like 50% of this list I've used for the better part of a decade. So if you explore them and it's not your cup of tea, don't fucking drink it. But you could use this as a springboard to say, oh yeah, that's the type of thing that I've been looking for. Now I know that it exists. Now I can look for, hey, products like HoneyBook. Oh, I can look for products like Telegram. Okay. So take this with a grain of salt. Know that I use this, but I'm not telling you that you need to use this. But if you don't want to go off on a tangent and trying to figure this out on your own, this is going to be a really great next step. The first tool that makes running my business substantially easier is a tool called HoneyBook. If you're not familiar, HoneyBook is a system that allows you to send contracts and invoices to clients. So if you're needing to send contracts for people to look at, to view, for you to sign, for them to sign, this works really well. If you need to send invoices, whether it's one-off invoices, multiple payment invoices, monthly reoccurring invoices. Oh, and the added awesome feature of allowing clients to choose their own payment plan. There's a lot of different scenarios where that can come in handy. This is what HoneyBook does really well. It was originally created to support the creative community. So think graphic designers, web designers, copywriters, photographers. It knows the creative space really well, but it's not limited to that. At time of recording, I am paying $62 a month to utilize this service. And it has made onboarding new clients so much easier. So you can set up what's called lead forms, which is if somebody's inquiring to work with you. You can set up those inside of HoneyBook. And then what's really cool is they've got automations. So automations are going to be, okay, once this is clicked, once they've submitted this form, what needs to happen? Is this then sending them an email that's thanking them and giving them next steps? Is this initiating a contract that needs to be pulled together and an invoice and a scheduling system for them to book their first call with you? You get to decide what that workflow is like. So for instance, how I'm using it the most right now is when somebody new is joining Auraline. So if you would happen to go to lauraora.com/mastermind, you scroll about halfway down the page and you select which version of Auraline you would like to join, the regular version or the hybrid version that gives you some one-on-one time with me. Each of those buttons then is linked to a lead form that is set up in HoneyBook. When you go to that form, you fill it out, you hit submit. On the back end, I have built an automation that then triggers an event to say, hey, this person wants to join. We need to send them the documents. So without me having to do anything, okay, I've set up this once. Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. But in the moment, now that it's set up, now that it's in place, it does the work for me. Okay, so you're going to then get a new email that is welcoming you, excited to have you as part of Auraline. Here are your next steps. And it's going to send the contract. It's going to send the invoice. It's going to send you the option to choose your payment plan. There's a place for you to make your first payment, and then it's going to give you a scheduler to book your first one-on-one session with me. I get a notification when that has been taken care of. It adds it into my calendar. The invoice says, hey, this has been paid. This is going to go into your account in the next 2 days. And voila, it was a seamless, lovely experience for both the client and myself. Like with most systems, there is some setup time. I would say out of all of the tools that I use, HoneyBook probably requires the most initial setup. And that is getting your contracts put in there and set up and on brand. It's getting your invoices laid out. It's setting up those automations. You don't have to do your entire business all at one time, right? Take a product or a service. But once that initial setup is done, it does the work for you. And you get to customize it so it doesn't feel stale, it doesn't feel stagnant, it doesn't feel automated because it's your touch every single part of the way. It's just allowing clients to sign on or pay things at any hour of the day that they want to. I think somebody signed up at like 8 o'clock at night one night. I got a notification that, hey, you got a new lead form submitted in Auraline. And I was like, that's freaking awesome. And then it sent the next steps and they took care of it when it felt right for them. So if any of that is like, yes, that's what I'm needing, HoneyBook is phenomenal. Yes, it takes a hot minute to set it up in the beginning. And if you need help with that, send me a message. I can hook you up with somebody that will take care of it in such a great way that you'll be like, oh my God, where have you been all my life? The next tool that I've been using for quite a while now is a social media scheduling tool, and it's called Metricool. Metricool is $144 a year. A lot of these tools, by the way, there's an option to pay monthly or annually, and there's often an annual discount. This one I chose to pay annually because it just made more sense. What I love about Metricool is I can schedule all of my posts on all of my platforms from one place. I'm not sitting down every day and writing a new post every day and manually posting it on every platform every day. Spoiler alert. Sorry if you thought that I was doing that, but that takes me out of everything that I need to be focusing on. I write my content once a week. It allows me to stay focused. It allows me to go deeper in the work and the message. It allows me to be really intentional about what I'm talking about, what's coming up. What am I being proactive about talking to you about? Or on the flip side, like the Gutsy podcast, the team is scheduling those posts out in advance. And so the platforms that we're using most are Facebook, Instagram, Threads, LinkedIn, TikTok, and YouTube. And all of those are connected in Metricool. And so what that allows you to do is then go into the planning tab and actually schedule those things out. You can upload photos, you can upload content, you can upload links. Like, it is phenomenal. And it even has this library now where you can upload images and kind of hold them in there for when you're ready to use them later. The other nice thing about Metricool is that it gives you analytics all in one place. So you can see like what's trending in your content and what's working and what's not working, how many page views you're getting onto your website. I even have my website linked to this. It shows you your top performing content across all of your different platforms. It shows the activity. It shows how many followers you have, which platforms you've gained followers on, which ones you've lost followers on. I mean, it's just so nice because it's a singular hub. I don't know about you, but going back and forth through all of the different platforms trying to find this information is mind-numbing. So if you're wanting to get more proactive with your social media, you want it to be all in one place, and you want to see very easily, like visually color-coded, what's working and what's not, Metricool, 10 out of 10. Now, the tool that is the holy grail, the top of the top, the absolute queen of everything that I use and have used the longest, probably 10 years, is Monday. Monday.com. This is a project management system. This is the hub for all of the details for everything that I'm doing, that I'm working on, that I've got coming up. Everything that has to do with everything about my business lives in Monday. If I lost Monday, I would lose my mind, period. This is where I house details for speaker applications and the links that I need to go to apply to them, and how we've communicated in email. Every single episode of the Gutsy podcast is scheduled out in Monday, meaning I've got a board for June, okay? This month's content. I've got a board that has which guest episode and when it airs and what part of the process we're in. I've got this Powerback episode that we're working on right now, where we are in the process and what details I need to include. Like it is the hub for all things business. I've got a board for marketing that talks about what we need to talk about on social media and when are our emails going out and when is our social media post going out. I've got a prospects board. So when somebody books a new call with me, a clarity session or a connection call, it automatically comes over into Monday. Podcasts that I want to speak on, the links and where I need to apply. How did I originally meet them? All of it lives in Monday. Okay. I think you get the gist here. This is where I house the details of my business, our deadlines, the information that's important, and I keep it all in one central place. So I don't have notes over here on my phone. I don't have stickies over there on my desk. And listen, sometimes I do, but I always take a few minutes and gather all that random shit. And where does it go? It goes into Monday. It helps me remember things. It helps me to stay on track. It helps me to keep my deadlines. It helps me to fulfill my promises. Listen, I'd beat somebody's ass over Monday. Okay. Like this is the system that allows me to do my business best. And no, Monday is not paying me to say any of this, but Monday, if you're listening to this, call me. I just happen to believe in this system that much. So if you've got files for files, if you don't know where all the details are, or you're tired of tracking things in a bunch of different places, or it just feels chaotic, Monday.com, I'm telling you, is a freaking game changer. This is another one of those systems that, yes, you have to get it set up. Yes, it takes a hot minute to get it working the way that you want it to. But once it does, oh my God, like you can set up automations in here as well. So for instance, when I'm done recording this Powerback episode, I'm going to go to the podcast board, the group inside of Monday for the podcast. I'm going to change the status of this episode to done. And that is then going to trigger AJ to let him know, hey, Laura's done recording. It's time for you to start editing. It's also going to trigger Adrienne to let her know, hey, Laura's done recording. You can start on the show notes and the rest of the materials. I don't have to tell anybody anything because I set it up once and now it's done. Honorable mention, by the way, too, is Claude. Okay, Claude's an AI system. I kind of like Claude. It's far more intuitive, and I don't know why, but I think that ChatGPT is a man and Claude is a woman. I will stand on that hill. I have no proof to back it up, but I just believe it. Claude has this really cool like co-work type of system where it integrates with Monday. And something I recently did that has absolutely changed the game for me and is blowing my mind is that when I find an application, okay, for a podcast or an event that I want to speak at, I copy the link to the website or the details, I paste it into Claude, and I have trained it. I gave it a little AI prompt to tell it like what I need, you know, my regular details that I need for when I need to apply to something. And it goes to the website, it extracts all of the details that I need, and then it adds an action into, that's like a line item, into Monday on the right group, on the right board, that gives me the name of the event or the podcast, the link and where I need to apply, the deadline for which it's due by, and any other like valuable information that I need to know to be successful in applying for that event or podcast. It puts it in there for me. It takes it about 32 seconds to do that. Before, that would take me 3 to 5 minutes per event or podcast to do, which I know doesn't sound like a lot, but when I've got 10, 12, 15 applications waiting for me, that adds up pretty quickly. So side note, Claude works with Monday quite beautifully, if I might add. The next tool that I've been using for 800 years, it seems like, is Calendly. You might have heard me talk about Calendly before. I will always talk about Calendly. It's always been great to me. Calendly is great for booking appointments. So if you want somebody to book a discovery call with you or a first session, or maybe you've got clients that need to book reoccurring one-on-one coaching sessions, Calendly lets you set up different event types, that's what they call it, where you can send a link to somebody where they can then choose the date and the time that they want to talk with you. Now, caveat with that, again, you go in and set this up, you get to choose your time, okay? So for the Gutsy podcast, for instance, I only do sessions on Tuesdays. I only interview on Tuesdays. And so the only option in my calendar for when I say, hey, you've been approved to be on the Gutsy podcast, here's the link to schedule your interview, the only option shows up on Tuesdays. I also have it set up that there is a max of 2 interviews per Tuesday. Found out the hard way, fun fact, that 2 is really kind of my max. I can do 3, but I start to get kind of fatigued and I'm just not my sharpest. I feel my best when I do 2. And so I've set up that, I call it a boundary, right? This helps me to uphold my boundaries with my time and my energy. Once those 2 are booked for that same Tuesday, it goes away. And so again, it's doing that work for me because I took the time to set it up in the beginning. When I have clarity sessions, that's a one-on-one session. That's 30 minutes, you and I, to talk about like what's going on, what's racking your brain right now. Where do you feel the most drawn? What do you need support with? Okay, let's figure out your next step, which is, by the way, at lauraora.com/clarity, if that is of interest to you. Those are available on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays because I've set up that event type and I send you the link and you get to choose which date and time works best for you. So if you're always back and forth in email, which day works best for you? Oh, well, what about this time? Oh no, my kid's doing this. Oh, this time. No, okay, we're not doing that. Or like in your LinkedIn messages when you're back and forth and trying to figure things out. Nope, you just send them the Calendly link. You can say, here is how to book, grab a time that works best for you, and we'll make it happen. So if you want to make booking sessions or meetings substantially easier, Calendly is the way to go. I pay $152 a year for this. Hands down, worth every single cent. The last tool that I want to tell you about today, there's definitely a few others, but these are like the I can't live without ones. This one is a little bit newer to me, but I'm really loving it, and it's for client communication. So once you're in Oralign, where do we communicate? Once you're a one-on-one client, where do we communicate? When I host my group programs, where are we communicating? The answer to that is Telegram. I'm currently paying $0 for Telegram. You can upgrade, but I haven't really found the need or reason to yet. So I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I'm hosting all of my Oralign clients, all of my one-on-one clients, the group programs that I'm teaching, and I'm even part of a few groups and other things that I'm in there in. So the capacity is pretty large. What I like about Telegram is that you can set up spaces. So if you're hosting a group program, for instance, like in Oralign, I've got an Oralign space. Okay. So when you join the program, you join into the space. And then within that space, there are different channels. For instance, we have a community thread for general conversation. We've got a wins and celebrations thread to celebrate the things that are happening and moving. We've got a focus for the week thread where I drop in a voice note every single week with some coaching, some guidance for some things for you to really dig into for the week. And there's a few others. So it's really nice because it can stay organized, and, sometimes in a group setting that can get really clunky or really loud. But this helps to make it really organized and really clean and really intentional. It also allows you to turn the notifications on and off. So if if you're part of that and you don't want notifications for everything or everyone, you can adjust that personally. For my private clients, they have their own private space. So that is like an individual chat between you and I, where you can send voice notes, where we can text back and forth. You can ask questions. You can get support in between our sessions. And the same with Oralign. The intent here is to get the support between our live calls. So if you've been looking for a place to communicate with your clients that is fairly simple, it's a pretty straightforward setup process. You want to get out of DMs, you want to get out of Facebook Messenger, you want to get out of WhatsApp. Telegram has been a phenomenal tool that my coach introduced to me. And when I started using it, I was like, oh, I think that this could work really well for what I'm creating and hosting. And hands down, it does. There's definitely other tools and systems and things that I use to run and operate my business. But when I look at the core programs, the things that have simplified my process, that have relieved my stress, that have helped me to stay organized, that have helped to make just a more seamless, better, strong onboarding process for my clients, like a really good client experience is important to me. These are the tools. These are hands down my go-to. These are the top 5 that I can't stop, won't stop, will fight somebody over tools that I use on a daily basis. And I can use them as an individual solo business. I can expand them out into my team. You can invite team members to a lot of these different programs. So as you expand, as you bring on an admin, as you bring on a project manager, like there's just so many different ways for you to expand these systems into your team. And if setting them up is just not your jam, seriously, please DM me because I have an incredible gal that can help you to set this stuff up. She has set up the majority of my tools and has made my life substantially easier. You don't have to do all this on your own, and you don't need all of these tools today. Okay? I see you, Miss Ambitious. You're running to sign up for all of this stuff. And okay, I get it. But if you take on too many things at one time, you're going to shut down. The place I want you to really look at and start with is which part of your business is currently causing you the most stress, the most anxiety, making you remember the most things, or feels the most disorganized. And you might be thinking, all of it, Laura. Okay, then let's pick one. Let's pick one area, the one that really irks your ass the most, okay? The one that if you had something in place to help you with it, It would take so much stress off of you. It would give you so much more creativity and bandwidth back. Let's start with that one tool first. I did not implement all of these tools overnight. They were not all set up and working so seamlessly in a week, but I did start. It was the one next thing, okay? So choose one area that if this were working better, if it was more efficient, if it was more organized, if I could have one go-to thing that I don't have to think about or reinvent or change every single time, which one would that be? Let's start there. And once you get that going and once you get used to that tool, then we can start to integrate other ones, okay? Last quick thing I'll say here too is know what you need this tool to do. I might have shared something today that's going to work perfectly for you. I might have shared tools for you today that you're like, I don't think that's it. And that's okay. The question then becomes, what do I need this thing to do? Would it be nice if there was one like gargantuan tool that just did all the things that you needed to do? Yeah, that would be awesome. If you find that, let me know. To my knowledge, that doesn't exist. But the upside to that is all of these different tools and systems that you end up using in your business, they're experts at their one thing. And if you know what you need this tool to do, what do you want to achieve with this? How is this going to help your business? Then you can say, okay, now I can start looking for things that meet my criteria or that check off more boxes than what this current one is. That alone is going to make your life that much easier. Reminder, I've put all the links to the tools that I just shared with you down in the show notes below. I'd love to know which one you integrate. So come back and tell me. Find me on social media. My handle is @thatlauraora. And as always, until I see you next time, stay gutsy.